everyone, I'm Meredith, and listen, I'm just a girl stuck in my apartment looking for someone, well, anyone other than my fiance, him, Andrew, to talk to me. We've been alone together for a while now, so some new conversation would be nice, right?
Oh, yes.
So this week we're talking about a topic we know all too well about, unfortunately, weddings being postponed because of the pandemic. And joining us is a couple that knows about it too, Mike Eisenstein and his wife, Clarke. They were supposed to get married earlier this year. They postponed their wedding and then said, let's do it. So hopefully they can enlighten us about what that experience was like as we too head down the aisle hopefully soon. And Mike and Clarke, thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about it.
Thanks so much for having us.
And I apologize, I did not fully introduce my wonderful fiance before. This is Andrew Heyman. He's soon to be my husband. Okay, so Mike, Clarke, take us back. We have basically been in your shoes too, soon to fully be in. When were you guys supposed to get married? We were supposed to get married March 21st here in New York.
I can't even imagine what that must have been like. I know someone who got married, I think the weekend right before that. And at the time, I was like, what a terrible, be done in a couple weeks or a month. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so badly for her. Now I'm like jealous. She got it in right under the wire.
Yeah. I said to him the other day, like, did we make a mistake? Should we have like just told everybody, drop what you're doing, let's get married tonight and do it?
Like, I really feel like that weekend right before yours, that's how it was. I'm sure everyone was nervous like the week or two leading up to it, but it was just so close that you just had to do it. Whereas yours was so close that you just had to like not probably, you know?
Well, we tried everything possible to make it happen, but it just kept, slipping away one thing after the other. I'll let you.
I mean, we initially were trying to do our best to make it happen. Understanding, okay, we're going to have a massive number of guests cancel. People who are going to fly in, people who are going to take buses in, our older relatives. We accepted that was going to be the case. And
we kept saying, like, as long as it's these people or over this number of people, and the rabbi can come, we're doing it.
And, we kept hearing from the rabbi, it's looking like this isn't going to happen. You're not going to be able to have the party. And so, we were thinking, should we just do the ceremony? Can we do it with, just the wedding party there? And then those people kind of started not being able to come. Two of my grooms were going to be flying in, weren't going to be able to do it. One of my groomsmen was not going to be able to come because his wife was having to self-quarantine. And, then we got the news from our rabbi that he had been exposed, so he was going to have to self-quarantine.
That was, I think, the point where we were like,
the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. And of course, it did end up happening that he got it from whatever he was exposed to at that point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a good call on everyone's part. But it was just kind of, then we were thinking about doing it virtually, but it just, not having anyone with us, was not.
It's so different and such short notice. Like, I mean, I can't even, what a rapid, so our original date actually was the date we did end up getting married, which there's a long story. So May 24th, it was the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. That was our date. So we had a little more time. And I remember the way things are still changing every day in so many ways. It was like rapid, it was, I think, like 6 weeks, no more than 50 people was like the very first CDC situation or something. And we're like, okay, that brings us to like May 10th. So my shower won't happen, but like, we were deluding ourselves slightly. So Mike's job, he works for NBC Sports and does Sunday Night Football. And I'm only even bringing up work because there's that means the entire fall, starting in like August through like almost February, is just off limits for us, period, for weekends, because he travels for sports. And then he was supposed to have the Olympics this summer too. So that was also going to be like a decent portion of July. So we're sort of like, is there something before mid-July that we could feasibly do that's far enough sounding away without having to postpone for like a year? Because that also sounded crazy at the time.
Right.
And And then the other thing is that Mike's grandfather's a rabbi, a conservative rabbi, and he was going to be marrying us. And my dad's family, my mom's family is Catholic, my dad's family is Jewish, but they're like Orthodox Jews. So Saturdays in general were going to be like problematic. So like we had like when we got engaged, we were like, we want to get married. We got engaged March 15th of 2019. And we were like, we want to get married May 24th, 2020. And now let's pick venues based on like this one date. Is like, that's sort of how we did it originally.
This is the only time.
Exactly. We're like, we're screwed. There's like, how could we possibly do this? Our venue sent us dates. So now this is like the last, or like the second to last week, whatever it is, it's probably the week leading up to your wedding where most people stopped going to work and like things were, I think it was probably that week. We reached out to our venue for like dates that are available, and Thursday, July 2nd, which funnily enough is coming up this week.
Right.
And in March, we were like, oh my God, that could be great because people are off Friday. It's not a Jewish holiday. It's not during the Olympics. It's not during
You heard all that you weren't going to be married on a Saturday. You just thought, let's do it.
Yeah, we were like, let's put a soft hold on that. And then we like reached out to our families and like our wedding parties, like our closest people, to be like, soft hold on this. Then by the time we sent an email officially postponing to that date was like April 1st. And by that day, I remember thinking, there's no way July is going to happen. But like, there came a point where they were like, you need to like shit or get off the pot kind of with July 2nd. So we're like, all right, we'll take it. May 24th is not happening at this point. And we like told, like sent it out an email to like all of our guests. I was like, there's no way July's happening either. What are we going to do? So it's sort of just, then it became again, football. Like I really didn't want to get married on a Sunday unless it was a long weekend. Mm-hmm. And that means like it has to be Saturday, but sundown has to be early and like a whole thing. So you can sort of take things over from here.
Well, that's when we eventually landed on March 6th. I mean, it seemed like sort of safe. I mean, it's hard to obviously say anything for certain, but Saturday, March 6th started to jump at us as a good candidate for a date.
It's the last Saturday before daylight savings.
Yeah, so I know. So you're able to do it after sundown Saturday night, which goes within our parameters. And yeah, at that point we postponed to March 6th. And then once we postponed to March 6th, we started thinking, oh, like, that's a far away from.
It's almost a year after it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly 2 years from the day of when we got engaged. Like that sounded so crazy and so far. And like July 2nd would have been different. We wouldn't have needed a virtual wedding or anything, but it was just so far sounding. And then we could keep, what ended up happening was that we were like, well, let's just get also my health insurance. There's so many practical reasons too, but you want to do something special that day anyway, maybe as much as you can. And we started thinking, okay, maybe your grandfather could marry us over Zoom and we can be in our apartment and like just our parents and like siblings could like Zoom in. And then it became my family is in Brooklyn. So like we're local, and Mike's family is in Maryland. And then Mike's parents were sort of like, well, maybe we can drive up to New York and like, because my parents are in Park Slope. They have like a postage size stamp backyard. But like, it became like, maybe we can all, like the few of us can be together that day and we can Zoom in grandparents. My grandparents are in Brooklyn, but like obviously not coming. They're like, shouldn't be going anywhere as much as they try to still come. Like they're not allowed. And, a couple other like very close, but we didn't even really want to include friends because then I didn't want a kitschy Zoom thing so much. I just wanted to make it like, but one of the best parts was that our photographer was still able to come and take photos and everything. So it was just, couldn't have been more different from like the day we planned, but.
How many people did you have in total?
So it was just my immediate family. So that's myself, my parents, myself and my brother and sister, and then Mike's sister and his parents. And our
So, so it's 9, including us, plus our photographer, so 10 total.
which I think, funnily enough, was like what the limitation was, whatever these like fake guidelines, whatever the guidelines are, it was like sort of what it was for that weekend anyway. So
we're looking at it just about 15, 16, like a couple friends, our immediate family, and that's it. And maybe Zoom the rest else. So did you tell me this? Did you get any seems like your parents were very enthusiastic and encouraging, but was there any pushback? Did you feel that people were afraid to be all coming together at any point? Were you guys afraid to, even though you wanted this ceremony to get people together?
I'd say, well, I guess there's 2 parts to that. I'd say one, as we sent out notes to our guests about postponing, we definitely got a lot of people that were cautious in their RSVPs, because when we sent out the notice for July 2nd, we said, "Oh, can you re-RSVP?"
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a lot of hesitance, on which we expected, and I think is rightful. And then I think the other part is, we were, in terms of being in person, we really wanted to limit the number of people, and we were very cautious. I mean, that's why we kept it literally to our immediate families. Didn't even have grandparents there in person, because at that point we were still very worried about, all of us being together, because we'd all been sort of separated. So I don't know. What do you have to?
So just 2 things. So my dad's a doctor, so he's been in the hospital this whole time anyway too. So I think Mike's parents, they were the ones that I felt were more, not that my family's not cautious, I just think it's a different, they're living in a little bit of a different situation, and that we wouldn't have asked anyone to come. Also, I do feel, I mean, it's not even feel, I think it's a fact, New York, even in the end of May, is different, a little bit of a different situation than it is right now. But I think that if anyone, I think your parents were a little more cautious about coming to New York, being around my dad who's in the hospital. And so the fact that it was their idea kind of made me feel much better to not be asking. But secondly, I didn't know where at first you were going with your question. And I feel on my end, at least definitely with my mom, my dad doesn't care as much about weddings, but my mom is just so much more the way it's been sad about a wedding. It's sort of just well, this isn't, you need to save something for the wedding, not definitely acknowledging we're married and so happy we're married. When you think about any small wedding, a big wedding, any kind of actual wedding, the amount of time and energy and effort and thought that goes into it is I think if anything, my mom was just more but all right, so we want to do our own vows, but we didn't do our own vows at the Zoom ceremony. We're going to save that. And our wedding bands recently just came. We had Amazon bands for the Zoom. And now it's they came, and I'm so happy. I love them. I'm wearing them, but I'm also should I save one of them for, you know what I mean? I think I think my mom was almost more just as if it wouldn't already be special enough that I'm not wearing a dress that I've had since high school, and we'll be at a party.
What happened?
That was another concern too.
So wait, what happened with the dress?
Oh, so my dress, so literally I think March 15th was supposed to be my first fitting. I've been measured, it's here, it's in New York, it's our Ramona Kvasia. I can't wait to put it on. But it was supposed to be my first dress fitting, which the woman there, I love her. And more than any other vendor, I don't even know if can count this as a vendor, but now I am, because we rescheduled because there were 3 fittings that we just kept moving and moving and moving. And it's there, they have it. So I definitely did not wear my dress. I gonna get some Rent the Runway stuff, but then when we first were going to postpone, I was I'm going to eat whatever I want. So then I didn't know we were going to be doing this and there's going to be photographers. So I spent 2 weeks eating whatever when I'd been on my wedding diet. And I was I'm just not, I just can't wait to wear my dress and feel my best self with hair and makeup professionally done. It's my first time wearing makeup in 3 months. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. I'm still looking for a dress. There are just boxes and boxes here that will go out. Okay, it'll go out tomorrow. It'll go out. Things that are coming, they're not fitting, Clarke. That's fun.
I know. It's the worst feeling. I was I hate this.
really good. So when they keep coming, you understand why, all right? And my dress, I ended up getting it in New Jersey. The dress, the woman who's altering it, and the seamstress said, like, you need to come get your dress because it's wedding season now and we're really crowded. And I couldn't help but think, like
who's coming in for their
coming?
fitting?
There's no one getting married.
We're really crowded? You mean like with dresses?
Right. I mean, like,
Do you mean with dresses that no one's buying right now?
Right.
my dress is with my mom now. But and hopefully,
Right, you were so close. You were like locked and loaded, like on all of that too.
I had done 2 fittings already. It was basically ready to go. I was going to come back the following week.
For like one, yeah.
Right, to see it one more and get it and go. My father was like driving me back to the city with the dress and everything else that was ready to go. And we were there the week before, and they're like, everything's okay. I was like, yeah, no, we're all going to be okay. We are doing this. We're fine. It went, as we said, it went so fast. So did it feel? Take me. I mean, it was so different than everything you had planned for and were getting ready for. When I know it's going to feel different, but I know I'm going to be getting married, so that's exciting and wonderful. But talk me through that. Like, did you have to, justify these? Was there disappointment? Was there, excitement?
This is probably controversial and not the right thing to say. Controversial, as if not in the scheme of things controversial. I had a wonderful day. I think I look very happy in our photos, and our photos are beautiful, and we get double the photos, so that's good. I was really sad. Yeah. And part of the reason I think too is like, think about the months before that, where all we're doing is like being at home, and all anyone's doing, and I'm sure the same with you, checking in on us, our family, our friends. Like, we'd have work Zooms, and like people at work who didn't necessarily even know I was getting married now had to know, because now it's like you're having more meetings than usual because everyone's trying to stay connected when it's like we didn't talk before, all that. Listen, I'm so happy. I'm married to the love of my life, and I'm just so happy. But we already knew we were getting married, and to not have it go the way we want, to just be married, I was so much happier when it was over. That like I'm so much happier now than I was leading up to it. I wasn't excited. I was like, this is gonna be sad. People were like acting as if someone died, like sending us flowers, food, like sort of congratulations, but sort of like, I'm so sorry for your loss. Like, seriously, it was just like, it was very mixed emotions, like crazy.
What about for you, Mike?
I think he felt differently than I did.
I guess so. I'm probably on the more positive side of that coin. It was very different, but I thought there was also something pretty special about like just being there with your families. Our families get along really well, and it turned into like a really nice day of all of us together. And I mean, we haven't obviously had a big full wedding day yet, but I imagine a bit of that gets lost when you're also surrounded by another 200 people. So I thought being able to have this day with just our families to like celebrate getting married was really nice. And it was just, I mean, it's something we wouldn't have otherwise had. So I sort of saw it as like a bonus, and I thought it was pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, the photos turned out well, which is nice too. But yeah, I found that to be, I thought it was really nice in that sense. It's just such like a unique thing. I thought that it just, I don't know. Yeah, I think it felt like a bonus, honestly. And I was really enjoyed it.
It was also nice to do like in the house I grew up in. Like my siblings in particular kept saying it was like sort of with the photos, like it's nice for us to have these pictures like in a setting of like where like our first day of school and like proms and like all this other stuff, that in a way that we never otherwise would have. Our family's dog was there, so like that's nice. Like it's definitely, I think we're gonna look back, I mean, assuming we'll have a party at some point, which at some point we will, I think we'll look back on this and be happy. I'm already very happy that we did it. It was just like a bittersweet kind of thing. Yeah. I think, sort of.
Are you feeling that at all? I mean, I'm yeah. Are you feeling that at all?
Which part of it?
I don't know. Like, I think you align more with Mike and I align more with Clarke. I feel like I'm relating to what she said, that it, I know it's gonna be very different, even though we're lucky enough to be getting married where we, at our venue, because they have
that's so
a
great.
space, so that's nice, and I think we feel very, connected and happy about that. It just, it did feel in a way like bittersweet. I mean, I'm thrilled and excited to be getting married to you, but I think you have I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I mean, it's just, it's a little bit hard to wrap my head around because, we don't know when the party is going to be. We don't, the idea is that, like, whenever we're able to do this, we're still going to do everything on that day that we were planning on doing on March 21st. Only difference is that the rabbi won't be able to say, I now pronounce you man and wife. He's going to have to say something else. Right?
Present you, I think, is what I've decided.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you come up with something good, right?
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. It is hard to kind of, like, we're thinking about this and we're planning this, and it's kind of, it's hard to even kind of see the other one, because we know when we hope it's going to be at some point this year. But we don't know. And, I think at the moment, I'm just really kind of focusing on this day, and, we're going to go away for a little bit of a mini moon right after that, which is not going to be just a honeymoon. But, I think I'm just thinking about that unit, and we'll see how we feel that day and right after. And I'm sure that it's going to be wonderful in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. And I think that I don't typically say this, but I think the guys have it right here. That it'll be a bonus day, and we'll look back on this, as an unexpected addition. That sounds like something else.
So good. You're right.
The ceremony and reception itself will be an unexpected additional blessing of a wedding. I don't know.
Well, are you guys kind of planning on celebrating both days?
So we are planning on celebrating May 24th as our day, because that was what we originally planned, and that's the day we got married. And then I don't even want to get into it, but with the whole getting your marriage license through the city situation, they started like the virtual thing a little bit. Are you saying I shouldn't say this?
What?
Just kidding. They started, so we tried to make our appointment the second that website went up. And honestly, as I used to work for the city, I think it was up and running like faster than I ever thought. But we ended up getting our certificate after our date, let's just say. So the date on our marriage license is going to be a different date altogether too. So Mike's mom tried to be like, well, what are you going to do? Celebrate like all 3 anniversaries? Like, no. Like May 24th is the day. And then fingers crossed if the party, I'm calling it like small wedding, big wedding. The big wedding can happen in March. That will just be like another happy day, but I will call our anniversary May 24th, I think. What are you guys planning?
I want both, because more is more to me.
I know, the more the better. Like, there's so many at this point.
And honestly, depending on what can be fixed, I had my ring.
Yeah, our rings were engraved with the March 21st date.
So I'm assuming they can be fixed. It'll probably have to be fixed after the point, but if my band is too thin that they can't reach it, that might be staying put. We had a cake cutter that was engraved. I'm assuming that can be fixed. If not, so we might have 3. There could be 3, who knows? But we need to order that marriage license stat.
Yeah.
So we're that right after this now. Good lesson. And so you're sticking to at least hoping for March 16th, 2021 for the big wedding.
Yeah, March 6th.
Yeah.
March 6th. Right?
Yeah, March 6th. That's our hope. We're staying positive about that one. I feel pretty good about it, but
it's crazy because
you never know.
We have a few friends who've gotten engaged during this quarantine and are actually looking at venues. We're seeing 2 of them after this, and we're gonna, first of all, we plan like 3 weddings now and have yet to like have, well, we had 1, I guess, but I feel like we're like experts on wedding planning at this point. Sort of. Who knows our
And
success?
pandemic wedding planning, a specialty.
Right, especially if it's like someone else's. That sounds way better. But I'm like thinking about it, and I can't wait to ask them when I see them later. I wonder if these venues are very much like, oh, and there's this whole outdoor, we can fit this many people. So, like you can sort of plan for it now a little more in a way that we couldn't, you could,
Yeah.
getting a venue to like our venue couldn't hold the maximum guests they can have is 250. So we invited like 240. Like, wouldn't do that now. You would like try and like make every effort to plan for contingencies and social distancing potential, maybe more outdoors, like things that like we, of course, why would we have had any foresight? But
had you ordered your ketubah yet?
So my grandfather also made the ketubah.
Okay.
So it is, so the date, because he legally married us then, the date on the ketubah is May 24th. And we did like a virtual ketubah.
Our only two
signing,
friends
basically.
we invited were our two like witnesses.
Right. So they
Yeah.
had,
We haven't like signed it in real life, but that's
well, you don't have to reorder it too, because that's fun as well.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, I can't even imagine.
That's fun too. What do you guys think you've learned from all of this? You're about yourselves, about you two as a couple. I'll ask you.
You want to go first or me?
It's funny, like people keep saying to us, like our friends, like are just like, I can't believe like how well you've handled this, and like you guys have handled this so well. I don't feel like I've handled it well at all, but it's sort of a situation, and again, I think champagne problems for us all to have like in these times, which obviously we're not talking about that, but it's sort of like you kind of just do it. Like I think we handled it in a way that people like you can throw as many tantrums you want, but like it's not going to change anything. So you just have to like pick up and do it. And I think it's I don't know. I think my mom would say like it's great you guys still want to marry each other after all this. Like that's nice, but I think it's just I don't know. It's a testament of just sort of like getting the job done when you need to and like making accommodations and concessions and figuring it out, being a little bit resourceful in the not the most ideal circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I think Clarke said it pretty well. I mean, in terms of lessons learned, I think people are just like really happy to hear about, good things coming out of the last few months. So that's always been, I think, an overwhelmingly nice part about this is everyone reaching out with such like positive responses.
I've never gotten so much like support and love from literally anyone you've ever met in like your life is just thinking about you. And yes, before it was a little not annoying, but it's just like, oh, you're reminding me about this. But like, it's so kind. It's just like kindness.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's sympathetic to it. Everyone understands it, and everyone's dealing with their own situation at the moment. But it's just the kindness that has come from this, from like everyone, like all our friends and family, has just been overwhelming and pretty. I mean, that's definitely like why also like I think May 24th, like what we did meant a lot to me personally. And it's just like wow, like I think a lot of people really responded so nicely to that.
That's lovely. All right, Andrew, what have you learned about yourself and about us as a couple?
Well, I think that, a lot that goes into planning a wedding, and, it's about control, and the whole idea behind the Bridezilla, and I'm not saying that she was one, but kind of like
He's a groomzilla.
Some people would say that I was too.
Yeah.
It's about wanting control, right? It's about kind of letting your inner control freak, out. And, in the situation that we were in, it's about kind of systematically having that control taken away from you. I mean, for us, it was, okay, so we're not going to be able to do this part of it, but we're still going to do this. Okay, we can't do that, but we're going to still be able to do this. We can't do that, we're still going to be able to do this. Okay, we just can't do
anything.
And, I think and that's a difficult thing to deal with. And I think for the two of us just being together, being able to kind of rely on each other, I mean, certainly, if we weren't together, we wouldn't have been in this situation because we wouldn't be dealing with a wedding, but, we were able to support each other through it. And I think that it's also an important thing to be able to accept when you don't have control. And it kind of forces you to just be really appreciative of those things that you do have that, are good in your life.
And that's me.
Yes.
Lesson learned.
Well said. Yeah.
Very well said. Seriously, it's so true.
Well, and I will say that I think what everyone can relate to in their vows, for better or for worse, thankfully with, surrounded by sickness, if you will, and in health, thank God, I understand what the words that I'll be saying, and they have an even stronger meaning. But we've stuck through it. We're stronger now than we were before. I love you now more than I did before, and it'll be good when we get married. 2 weeks. Oh, a little bit.
So exciting.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Excited for you guys.
Thank you guys for talking with us. I keep saying, you didn't get a break today. This time you had to join. Usually he gets some quiet time because I get to talk to other people, but this time you were okay too.
Happy to have you here.
Mike, Clarke, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time on Let's Talk About It.